Beautiful Wednesday morning. Welcome to Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburiwo. Don't forget, ICSAN is the leading recognized professional body in Nigeria that's dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. Today on the program, we want to look at the contributions of the recommended committees to good corporate governance. And joining us, we have Mr. ADEBIYI, ACIS, Chairman, ABUJA Chapter of ICSAN. He's also a member of the Membership Committee. His company, Secretary and Legal Advisor, Maywall Limited. Good morning, Mr. ADEBIYI.
Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, thank you for joining us on Corporate Governance Platform this morning. And,
my pleasure, please.
All right, also here we have Mr. Kayode Ketefe, FCIS. He's Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Funmi. Good morning to you, our guest, Mr. ADEDEJI, ACIS. Good morning to you, all our listeners.
Let's take this message. We'll be right back.
The world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitutes the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-ranking governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, so Corporate Governance Platform, as I said earlier, we're looking at the contributions of the recommended committees to good corporate governance. Mr. ADEBIYI, let's start this way. What are the committees that are traditionally recognized in corporate governance parlance as board committees?
Thank you very much. Looking at Principle 11 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, there are 4 committees that the code specifically lays emphasis on. They are the Nomination and Governance Committee, Remuneration Committee, Audit Committee, and Risk Management Committee. However, companies may actually set up committees other than this one on basis of the nature of their business and their industrial specialization. Thank you.
All right, so let's take a look at these committees one after the other, these 4 basic committees you've mentioned, and look at the roles that they play.
Well, the committees, we first need to understand that these committees stand as a group within a larger group. The larger group itself is the board, and the group within the group is the committee. So basically, the board committees handle a number of issues with greater efficiency by deploying their expert focus on specific areas of corporate governance. Also, the board committees enhance this objectivity and independence of the board's judgment. And finally, the board committee dives into deeper matters and they make recommendations to the board. So those are the roles that they actually serve.
Now, the code stipulates that independent non-executive directors should be integral members of all these committees. Why do you think this is required?
The independent non-executive director in the general parlance is not even meant to have a relationship, either directly or indirectly, with the company. The main focus of an independent non-executive director is to be focused on his or her directorship, because they're expected to be free of relationship that could materially interfere with the independence process of their judgment. So partisanship shouldn't really fall on the part of an independent non-executive director, because they have an outward view of the affairs of the company, and they will be able and they are required to give independent assessments, judgments, and recommendations. So for us to have a good and effective board committee operation or management, it's important that we have independent non-executive directors.
In what ways do board committees contribute to the corporate governance?
Yes, as I said earlier on, board committees provide a platform for boards to deal with specific issues that require specialized areas of expertise. Also, the committees allow the boards to divide the work of the board into manageable sections. And also, the committee in its benevolence allows board members the proper time to research on various issues, and it permits broader participation by all board members, because there are some board members that may be more interested in some particular issues because of their professional background or because of their area of interest. So committees are given that dedicated time to address agenda items, and the board expects them to conduct due diligence, and they're also expected to be thorough. So they contribute a whole lot to corporate governance.
All right, great. What advice do you have for the companies, on need to get right the composition of their committees?
Okay. The board can accomplish much of the work through committees because it is an effective way to delegate work. So they can focus specifically on areas such as governance and internal and external affairs. Also, a baseline advice or a baseline point that we need to understand is that the participation in board committees, it draws the directors closer to their companies. So I will advise companies that have peculiar characters on looking at characters of size and complex nature of businesses to uphold the recommendations of the 2018 Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance in ensuring that they have an effective board composition and committees for seamless board management. If you look at some blue chip firms, some reputable companies in Nigeria, and you look at their reports, annual reports, you see the functions that they have set up for the committees and the achievement, the milestones that have been attained by virtue of these board committees.
All right, thank you, Mr. ADEDEJI ADEBIYI, ACIS, Chairman ABUJA Chapter of ICSAN, member of the Membership Committee, ICSAN, and also Company Secretary and Legal Advisor, Maywall Limited. Thank you for joining us on the program.
My pleasure, please.
All right, Mr. Ketefe, let me come to you. What advice does the Institute have for the companies on the issue of composition?
Thank you very much for that question. Let me start by saying that the committee system was deliberately developed in corporate governance to make the work of the board of directors easier and make it more efficient. Each of the committees has specific responsibilities that are assigned to them, and These responsibilities help to enhance the board effectiveness generally. When a committee focuses on a specific areas or a task that is delegated to it by the board, this enables the board itself to concentrate on more strategic agenda. So it's for this reason that ICSAN is hereby advising companies and organizations to ensure that they get right structure and mix in their committee system, so in order to reap the inherent benefits. Our institute can also assist in this regard by giving guidance to companies and other organizations on the issue of their board composition and effective use of committee system. Our training department also constantly features teams on board composition and committee system, which those seeking knowledge in this area can attend to boost their capacity. Thank you.
All right, now will ICSAN rate the provisions of the committee system in the Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2020 as conforming with the best practices?
Thank you very much. And the answer to that is a straight yes. Let me start by saying that the Principle 11 of the Code empowers the board to delegate duties and responsibilities to well-structured committees. And it must do this without abdicating its responsibilities. That is to say that after the board has delegated those responsibilities, it must not abdicate it. So the committee will report back to the board, and the board will take the decision. The said Principle 11 of the Code contains 16 recommended practices, which summarize best practices on committee system. These provisions, they are well conceived, they are practicable, and I would say that they essentially represent acceptable standard on the subject. ICSAN itself was deeply involved in the drafting of the code. Our members are part of the resource people who produced the code, and the institute made a contribution to ensure that the code generally attained the global best standards. So therefore, I can confidently say that the provisions of the code on many issues, not only on the committee system alone, on many issues, reflect the best practices. So we will advise companies and organizations to abide by the provisions of the code. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaode Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. It's always a pleasure to have you right here on Corporate Governance Platform.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right, that's it. This morning, our package on Corporate Governance Platform brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. We'll return again next week, Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. right here on Equator 9.7 FM. I'm Funmi Omoburiu. Enjoy the rest of the day.